Good morning, ForeignReview. My name is Zane, and I would just like to go over like a free talk today. So no script, no pre-written, none of those clips. Just go over what I feel is personally necessary to talk about in today's climate and today's world. So this video was inspired by George Floyd, and this is what the video today will be talking about. It'll just be a short video, just recapping my thoughts and what I think needs to be done about the aftermath and what happened. So, talking about what happened, the George Floyd incident, which makes it even more sadder, because not just because of what happened, but because of the context it was in. When you think about it, the deaths of black men at the hands of whites and police officers, it has happened throughout American history. We can look at the fact of Emmett Till, a young African teenager who died and almost was just brutally massacred by a group of white males in the 1950s. His death serves as a showing of just what could happen to black men in the area or just in America. Another man, we can just see it throughout Trayvon Martin, Philando Castile, the black teen who was shot at the hands of the police officer in Florida. I believe his name was Zimmerman. Don't get me wrong. Sorry. But yeah, when you look back on that, right, what you see is that it's not an isolated incident, which makes it even more sadder. But the thing that really irks me about this incident is just that it's such such a moral and ethical just like a low point. Like, what man who is screaming for help, he cannot breathe. As a police officer, it is your right. It is your duty to make sure that at first you're keeping peace, but also making sure that you have an obligation to these people. Whatever they may have done, as an American and as a moral human being, you are expected to treat them with at least a little decency of human respect. What did that man do to warrant him sitting on your neck and breathing him out? Making him breathe just making him asphyxiate. Why would you even do that? There's no point. It was immoral, inhuman. Honestly, it's probably the lowest point a human man can reach. A human man, woman, whatever. But what this signifies is that it goes beyond just race. There's tension in America. People are frustrated. Coronavirus, losing jobs, Trump. There has been tension. And the last real political change, just time of great turbulence and difficulty, say around the 60s, 70s with the civil rights movement, counterculture, Vietnam. Very sad time in America. And honestly, America operates in cycles. It's been seen. The economy, culture, it's relative, right? What I'm saying is that America's in a cycle right now. It is coming to the epoch of that cycle, or the apex of the cycle. Racial tension is brewing. Economic tension is brewing. Economic tension, cultural tension, all this tension is being brought to a head. And these protests, these riots, these lootings can be seen as a perfect example of that. They serve as it's a wake-up call. And honestly, based on the prior incidents, if one of those men get released or get acquitted, the great cities of America will be in flame. And you can debate me all you want, I believe it. Those men deserve to be in jail for the rest of their lives because they murdered that man, right? But if at least one of them gets acquitted, I will promise you that the men and women of this country will not stand for this. And that is what makes this so important. This is a test of the human character, of the emotion that America in itself possesses. These riots are just a consequence of what has happened, and I do not endorse anything of what has happened. But let me get it straight. It is time for change. This change will happen through a cycle, as it did in the 50s, as it did in the 1860s, as it did throughout American history. But there's time for change, and change will happen. I am sure of it. I still believe that I do not believe in any of these extremist theories. They're not true. They're impractical. They're only idealist. America is strong, and America will still stay strong. That is not something that can be debated. America is staying alive, but it's time for change. It's time to re-examine things. Racism is not an issue that has been dealt with in the past. It permeates our society today in every facet of our lives. There is inherent racism, and I do not mean to sound like, and just mean to sound that way, but it's true. It's true. And unless if we address these issues head on, we face them without any of this dilly-dallying around, it will only come back. And we, as an American, I just think that, I believe that we just need to focus. We need to focus and concentrate our efforts towards dealing with these problems head on. Because if we don't, they will come back. That's just how it's been. It's how it's been. And if we don't face these problems, then who are we to say that they won't come back, you know? It's just, this is a reaction, as everything is. And honestly, I think this serves as a wake-up call for Americans to understand that there's something wrong and that we need to work together to fix it. Thank you.